1-869-452 and 1-866-6775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. Our guests are all this morning from Solutions for Change. Chris Megison, welcome. He's the founder.
Hey, Ron, thanks. Good to be here.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I'm just into celebrating. I can't go back to Sunday when it was National Vodka Day, but you know something? I've got some other good things here. National Coaches Day. Everybody needs a coach. Amazing. National Plus Size Appreciation Day. Now, do I fit a plus size? I think that I'm like a double plus or triple plus, maybe a quadruple plus. German American Day. Orange Wine Day. I don't even. Yeah, I think we'll stick away from that one. Eat Fruit at Work Day. National Noodle Day. There's a lot of noodling going on here. Some of these celebrations today, though, whatever. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 14 points. The S&P 500 down 5. NASDAQ down 54. Oil is up again, up another $1.31 a barrel. Do we want to talk about oil and Venezuela in the same breath? It just drives me crazy. But you know something, to educate you, and that's our mission here on Ron Siegel Radio, is education. $2.18.2 is the national average for a gallon of gasoline. Add $1.02 to get the price on average in Venezuela. Unbelievable how we continue to do these things to ourselves. Now, if you go to Mississippi, $1.84.2 is the price of average price of a gallon of gasoline in Mississippi. Yet here in Venezuela, we just do it to ourselves, keep voting for the same people that want to keep charging us high prices, and then say, oh, well, we've got to set a government plan to help you. Unbelievable. Hey, let's look at that 10-year Treasury. We told you it was going to go up to about 0.78. We were off by a little bit. It's a 0.776 right now. So, you know something, if I could do that all the time, I wouldn't need a day job because I would be able to just predict the markets. And those guys make a lot of money predicting markets. So, you know something, but that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look, though, and see what else is going on in the rundown. Hey, did you notice that the president left the hospital yesterday? You know, it just fascinates me watching some of the lame media, how their coverage of it. The Cannabis News Network or the Clown News Network, whatever you want to call it, CNN, talking about how irresponsible the president is. What did we learn from the president getting the coronavirus? Well, maybe it reinforced the idea that those people over 70, 95 and a fraction percent survive. What did we learn when we see Kayleigh McEnany? She's out there doing her job right now from a quarantine location. She tested positive. She's got a 99+% chance of survival. But the media says, well, the president is being irresponsible by going to work. Well, most of the media doesn't want anybody to go to work, so that's a different issue right there. But here's the thing that I'm looking at is what's their motivation? Why don't they want the president going back to work? Well, because he's going to prove that the virus is something that we need to respect, but we don't need to fear it. That's the whole issue right there is, you have to take care of yourself when you've got the flu, right? I got a notice from the office where we broadcast every day. And it says, something, if you're feeling flu-like symptoms, if you've got a cough, if you've got a cold, you got a runny nose, you have a temperature, please do not come into the office. You're not welcome here, right? That's just taking responsibility. That's the way it should be done. But you look at some of the liberal media, and they think that the president, because he got the virus, now he's got to stay away from everybody, everything, never go back to work again. Just doesn't make sense to me, but that is the way the media goes, and there's nobody out there challenging them. Well, we do on Ron Siegel Radio. But think about that concept is why would they be saying that? I saw the pictures of the president getting back to the White House. Now, one of the big issues of the coronavirus, and I'm not a doctor, I don't even play one on TV, but one of the big issues of the coronavirus is they say a shortness of breath. Well, did you watch the president get out of Marine One yesterday and go up that massive staircase out front? Think about that concept. Now, something, I've got bad knees. I'd go up that thing. I'd be huffing and puffing by the time I got up there. The president got up to the very top, stood there at attention, saluted the helicopter as they left. Think about that concept. What is he doing with that? He's proving that, something, he doesn't have shortness of breath if he goes up that colonnade of steps and stands there at attention, not huffing and puffing and wheezing. Right? I've heard people that have had the virus that have been very bad, and they've said that, going from the couch to the bathroom is tough work. Well, look at what happened yesterday with the president. What kind of a image does that set? What type of, that's what you call, and I know the Cannabis News Network doesn't like this, and MSNBC, hee-haw, they don't like this, but that's called leadership, right? The president is out there just showing the fact that, yes, you have to respect the virus, get to the doctor, get the medicines and consultation with your doctor, and it can be beat. Wow. But why would the media want to have anything good to say? They haven't for the first 3.5 years of the president's term, right? So why would they want to start saying anything in the world positive now? They don't want to talk about Joe Biden's kids and brother, or his son and brother, getting rich by payments to them from Moscow, payments to them from China, payments to them from the Ukraine. But yet we find no evidence of any of that going with the president, and the media doesn't say a word about it. Do you think there might be a reason for that? I just throw that on there. But it's all about the lies, the insults. They don't want to have anybody go to work, right? So the Senate Judiciary Committee is going to meet virtually, just like we are today, right? They're going to meet virtually to vet Judge Amy Coney Barrett. Oh, but the left doesn't want that. We can't go to work. Of course, Congress people don't like to go to work ever, but hopefully they'll at least have somebody that's going to force them into doing a little bit of work. Hey, how about this morning? Jay Powell, Federal Reserve Chairman, urged lawmakers to provide the pandemic-stricken economy with more fiscal support. I'm looking at that, and you'll say $2.2 trillion is Nancy Pelosi's budget. There's proposition coming down from $3.4 trillion. Where's she coming up with this money? I know that there's industries that need it, but we don't need to bail out everybody in the entire world from everything that's happened for centuries. We don't need to put more money into green energy from this pandemic. Maybe she'll come off of some of these numbers and realize we have to help the small business person. We have to help the individual worker who's out there or out of work. We do not want to help those that want to stay home on their rear ends and do absolutely nothing and collect a check from the government. I don't want to help those folks, right? Those people can get up. Maybe they need to volunteer to go do something, right? Get a check if you volunteer. If you don't volunteer, yes, I understand there are some people that can't. We need that safety net there. But if you're a able American, go clean the sides of the roads, paint some walls, clean up infrastructure. There's many places to volunteer. Get volunteer hours with Solutions for Change, right? And then you can get your check. If you do nothing, you get nothing. Do something, you get something. Unbelievable how, of course, then we are in Calizuela. But hey, the last story I want to share with you is, what about Disneyland? Right? Disney's ready to reopen. They reopened in Florida. They've reopened around the world, but not in Calizuela. No, you can't do that in Calizuela because somebody might get sick eating at an outside restaurant. Uh-oh. We're doing that all over the state. Somebody might get sick going on a roller coaster. Well, I get sick going on roller coasters all the time. Doesn't have anything to do with it. Guess the park can't measure somebody's temperature, thermometers. They don't have those kind of things. Parks have done everything that have possibly could to solve these problems. Yet our Governor Gruesome has no desire to solve any problems. He just wants people to be dependent. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to learn about Solutions for Change. Have they solved the problem of homelessness for a specific segment of our population? Is it time to move into a single-story home? We'll talk about that. 7 mistakes people make when hiring a financial advisor. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel Radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Dow Jones Industrial Average now up 21 points. S&P 500 is down 5.36. NASDAQ down 39.35. 10-year Treasury is up 1 basis point, not a whole heck of a lot there at 0.775. Mortgage-backed securities, they're up 9 basis points. That tells you interest rates are down a little bit. They've been jumping around a lot today. All that information is great. You can find it anywhere you want to. Why you're not going to find out why those numbers are what they are unless you tune in to Ron Siegel Radio. So here's the issue. Quiet news day, but we're hearing from the Federal Reserve Chairman talking about the need for more stimulus. So we're not expecting any more newsworthiness out of that. He's not going to tell the Congress to get off your rear ends and do something for a change. Not going to say that. CoreLogic released their home price index report for August, showing that home prices increased nearly 1% during the month and 5.9% on a year-over-year basis. Now, if you remember, they forecasted home prices will rise 0.2% in the year going forward. Those numbers don't seem to match up. But, you know something? They were talking about 6% decline earlier. Think about some of those numbers. They're just not happening. Real estate is a great place for you to be right now. Supposedly, there's a stimulus deal getting closer and closer. We'll have to watch out for that one. May not be bond friendly because we've got to watch out for inflation. A contributor, Peter Bookvar, talks this morning about sea, air, and transportation costs are now up double digits. That's going to go into the cost of everything. So that will have an effect on prices, have an effect on inflation. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So if you've been a listener of Ron Siegel Radio, you know that I am a big, big proponent of our friend Chris Megison. He has done some really great things. I heard Chris's story at one time and had to have him come on and share with you. And it's been, Chris, I think it's been about a couple of years since you've been on the broadcast with us. Welcome.
Thanks, Ron. It's really good to be back with you. And I always enjoy being on your show. And thanks for having us back.
So just to give us a little background, I don't want anybody to start crying now, but I want you to tell us the story of this little girl that kind of set this whole thing off.
Yeah, thanks. And we refer to it as our founding story. My wife and I got out of the Marine Corps after the first Gulf War with my wife. We serving the homeless for about 7 years, and in 1999, this beautiful 9-year-old homeless girl named Jessica, living in a winter shelter on the floor of a shelter designed, for homeless men. And she reaches over one night, she yanks on my sleeve, and in this really sweet, innocent voice, she says, "Hey, mister, do you live here too?" And I look down at her and I'm just like, I'm watching her mom spread out a bedroll on the floor with her little baby sister. And I get down on one knee and I look at her and I say, "You know what, sweetheart, I don't live in this place, but I am going to get you out of here. I promise you that." And, kids are pretty resilient, some kids might think it's a camping trip, but she knew she was not supposed to be there in that place. And she teared up, and I'd be lying to you if I told you this old Marine didn't tear up. And we gave each other a hug. And in that second, that 9-year-old girl launched what was a name. She turned it into really a movement and a mission to solve family homelessness. And so we've been at it for 21 years. And we've led over 2,500 kids and about 1,150 families out of this horrible condition, not for a week or a month or a year, but forever. And we've done it with an entirely different model than the current system uses. So That's
Great.
why we
We've
call
got
ourselves Solutions for
Jennifer and
Change.
Tanya with us also. Jennifer, why don't you tell us your story, and then we'll have Tanya do the same.
Hi. I am actually the chief overcomer here. I work for Solutions for Change. I'm actually a graduate of the program, and I am here to really talk about dependency and how it's hurting us and not helping us.
Great. And Tanya?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tanya Azar. I'm VP of Strategic Advancement, and I work with community engagement. So that means advocacy, education, and in the future here, we'll be replicating our program outside of North County, San Diego. So we'll be leading that effort, working with people like Jennifer and our overcomers, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
So there's been a number of issues that I've watched, and I haven't been as close as I like to, but when Chris and I spoke probably about a year ago, maybe a couple of years ago, you had mentioned to me, Chris, that you had the program going and you found a problem in the program with recidivism, and you found a solution to that problem. Talk about what the vision is. What do I have to do if I'm homeless? There's some things that I have to do in order to qualify to come and be with you. So tell us a little bit about that part, one of you.
Yeah, thanks. So, what we've identified here at Solutions for Change, we've named it, we call it the churn. It's this costly and futile cycle that occurs when the root causes of homelessness aren't addressed, and then resulting in more homelessness and more impacts. And right now, Ron, a lot of people don't even realize this. Within right where we sit right now in the Southern California region, there's 100,000 homeless people that are stuck in this thing called the churn. And that represents 1/5 of the entire nation's verified homeless count. So obviously something is completely busted. We've identified what that something is. And what we've developed is a intervention protocol, if you will, and a number of engagements and programmatic engagements that get to the root causes of what caused the person, the family, to become homeless. And so what's happened is our entire system has operationalized and systematized really around serving symptoms of the problem. And in fact, we believe homelessness is a symptom. It's a consequence. It's not really the real problem. Is it a problem? Yeah. But just like any problem, if you don't find out what caused it and you start treating it, you're going to waste a lot of time, energy, and money on that. Any business owner, anybody that runs a business, anybody that runs a family, that you got to find the root cause. And so it's from a 30,000 foot perspective, that's what we've done. And so we look for people that are in the churn that we can save from the churn, who we can pull out and give them hope that, you can actually have a really good life. You can be employed, you can get healthy, you can get sober, you can actually find ways and skills to manage your family, to do this thing called life. And it's an entirely different approach than the current top-down system, which frankly, Ron, I've studied it. I've been on the inside of it for 28 years. It's pretty ugly. There's a lot of things with this system. Perhaps it's done to really help people, but it's actually having the opposite effect. It creates more dependency, more pain, more vulnerability, more homelessness. So we're in a mission. We're in a full-out, really a full-out war against the churn. And having people like Jennifer and Tanya in this thing is amazing. Jennifer is the top overcomer, leading up dozens of other overcomers in a full-on frontal assault to essentially dismantle the churn in our region. This is like no small task here. So we are really excited to be here and to be representing something a lot bigger than just helping a few people.
So maybe Jennifer, maybe you can help me with this part, because I hear so often, I go and I chat with a lot of people, a lot of politicians and whatnot, and they're consistently telling me that there's a subset of this population that really they want to be off the grid, and they want to be in that homeless population. Can you talk about that a little bit? Have you seen that? Is it true?
I mean, when you are creating a culture of dependency, you rely on those in that population to not want to change because it just fuels their agenda. So there's definitely some portion of people that are mentally unwell that need a further level of treatment. But for the most part, it's the right motivation. Anybody can change. It's having that right motivation and saying if you have to work for this in order to get it. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to do that because I can go over here and get this for free and I don't have to do anything for it. So it's changing the narrative and the culture of what real love.
That's a great way of putting it, because it is real love, and it's so in so much in politics right now, and in government right now, maybe not politics, but in government, it's all about something. Let me give you a fish, and nobody really wants to teach you to fish. That seems like the big issue right there. Talk a little bit about your program there, because I know that you at one time you were getting training on how to beat this whole system and how to overcome and how to thrive.
Yeah, for me, I mean that's what we do here at Citizens for Change, and that's why that's what sets us apart from everything else. Is not only are we learning how to take care of ourselves, we're also building into a culture of people to do the same thing. So our people now who are overcomers are now creating other overcomers by investing in them, and like Chris was saying, crushing the churn and the cycle of dependency is its own business, and we create this pattern of this big money making, and we just got to throw more money and more money and more money. And it's not money that's the issue, obviously, because homelessness is a trillion, however, whatever that number looks like, industry a year. And what it needs is accountability, skill set, tools, someone to believe that they can and not that they can't. And so that's really what the foundational change for us is.
It's fascinating. The whole topic to me, just with what the organization has done, has been fascinating to me. We're going to talk more with our friends from Solutions for Change when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We've also got a little bit of a story on some real-time real estate. We'll get that for you. Is it time to move into a single-story home? All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low threes. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal Housing Lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part: you still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. The digest has all kinds of great information for you. Tells you what the county recorder knows about your property, tells you what the market thinks about your property, and it's totally free. Is it time to move into a single-story home? Once the kids have left the nest, you may be wondering what to do with all the extra space in your house. Chances are you don't need 4 bedrooms anymore. It may be a great time to sell your house and downsize, right size, maybe even into a single-story home. You've likely gained significant equity if you've lived in your home for a while, so making a move while demand for your current house is high could be your best step forward toward the retirement goals you set out to achieve several years ago. The dilemma, though, where to go next? Big concern for many homeowners who are ready to sell is finding a home to move into, given today's lack of houses available for sale. There is, however, some good news. The number of single-family, one-story homes being built today is on the rise, improving your odds of finding the right home built for your changing needs. In a recent article, the National Association of Home Builders explains, quote, nationwide, the share of new homes with 2 or more stories fell from 53% to 52%, while the share of homes with 1 story grew from 47 to 48. I got a map on the screen, and that shows you the breakdown of newly constructed homes being built by region and the percentage of 1-story and 2-story homes. So if you look at our area here in Calazuela, 1-story 39%, 2 or more is 61%. We know the benefits of a single-story home: energy efficiency, easier to maintain, accessible for those of us that are a little old, good resale potential. Bottom line, if you're thinking about moving, give me a call, 800-306-1990. Not that I am a realtor, but I can put you in touch with one anywhere in the sound of my voice. That is the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. We're chatting this morning with, or this afternoon, depending upon when you're hearing us, our friends from Solutions for Change. They're on a mission. I don't know the mission statement. I don't work for them, but I know the last time I was involved with some of their things, getting rid of homelessness in a responsible way. right? It's not just throwing a bunch of dollars out that are going to run out next week. They've got a responsible process for solving the problem. What's the time frame? How long does it take for somebody to go through your program, Chris?
So we say it's 700 days, so it's about 2 years, Ron. We like using a specific time frame of 700 days, and it's an academy approach. So we've thrown out the old models of shelters and trying to service people out of homelessness, and we take an approach where we're looking at equipping them with the skills, knowledge, and resources they need to permanently solve those root causes. So it's an academy. It's an academy that does a lot of workforce training. We call it Get Up, Suit Up, Show Up. It does a lot of counseling classes, counseling engagements, groups, one-on-ones, a lot of practical application of these work ethic and other character building and personal development skills. We're helping a lot of people that have grown up with a lot of very tough challenges. I mean, these are folks that, they get stuck, they don't have the skill set. A lot of them have been, hurt as kids, and they grow up and they get into abusive, unhealthy relationships. They have kids. And then those kids now become the next generation. So now we're not only intervening and getting these families out of probably the deepest, darkest place you could be with your family, homeless, living in a car or a tent or worse, but we're actually stopping the generational progression and the evolution of more of this happening. And so that's what we do. And, one of the people that's really been, essential in helping us get this into more cities is Tanya, and I'd like her to share a little bit about some of the things that we're doing to help bring more awareness to this thing. So these other cities, many of whom are really tired of this, Ron, they're sick and tired of getting hammered over and over and over by the homelessness impacts. So when we get a chance, I'd love for Tanya to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, Tanya, I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because one of the things that I see a lot, and I've talked to a lot of politicians, and it's a great talking point for politicians to say they want to solve homelessness, but then they don't follow through with it. They don't really know what the heck they're talking about. So, and I've said so many of them. I've said, hey, go talk to Chris Megison. He's been doing this for a day or two, and he's got some practical experience. How are you bringing this to other parts of the state, other parts of the country, Tanya?
Great. Thanks, Ron. Well, right now we have a long waiting list. We entertain calls on a daily basis of people interested in our program. So you can definitely see the frustration that communities are beginning to have, politicians that are beginning to have, that they recognize that throwing $1 billion at this situation isn't making things better. And we always talk about that. What you put in is what you get out. So if your expectations are just putting roofs over someone's head, then that's what you're going to measure and that's what you're going to get back. But Solutions takes it a bit further, and that's part of our advocacy, part of our education. We just kicked off on September 26th, a campaign called We Are One Us. And this campaign is all about educating the public in regards to a systems change approach to how we see and how we act on deep poverty and on homelessness. And we have a secret weapon. We deploy people like Jennifer into our communities who work with homeless individuals and are able to take them from a state of deep dependency and pain and trauma and lift them up, that we help them build their personal capacity through job and workforce training, through personal development, how to be a better parent, those type of things. But we also, people like Jennifer, we call them our overcomers because they've overcome really difficult situations. We deploy them out into the communities that have supported them and help them through what we call Serve to Solve projects, help rebuild the community as well. But one of the things that's a little different about Solutions for Change is we don't just measure transactions, we measure transformation. So we look at those things like a person getting a job, a person actually being able to be 5, 10, 15 years sober, being a better parent. We have 100% reunification of families, and that's because that's like one of the first things that we do is focus on helping build the capacity of that person to be a better parent, to have their families with them. So we don't measure just roofs or blankets given, or as Chris might say, burritos that were delivered that day, but it's all about the transformation, taking a person of deep dependency and pain to independence and freedom.
You know, so in this country, I think that most people, most of our citizens want freedom. They want the value and feel better by being productive. I'm not sure that I know too many people that want to be dependent all the time. So the idea here is, somehow give them a method. A lot of people just don't know. They don't know how to start. What's the starting place here of finding this? Jennifer, did they find you, or did you find them, or what was your story on how did you find Solutions for Change?
Well, I completed rehab, and I had no social skills or life skills whatsoever, and I had zero clue on how to be a parent. And so actually the community, I heard through the community, we have a huge, amazing, supportive community in San Diego County, and elsewhere as well. And so that's how.
Yeah, that's something. It's a great way, and there's so many people are out there, and they just have no idea how to. They want to start, but they don't know how to start. And I'm glad that you're out there, and Tanya, I'm glad that you got this mission to go and expand. Northern San Diego, I know, has been the home of Solutions for Change, but something. There's hundreds of thousands of people all over the country that need Solutions for Change, and the idea that you're out there promoting that. I want to talk to you more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Because I want to talk to the friends from Solutions for Change, more producers, we're going to take out the Your Credit Matters segment today, and I'll take care of them later. But that's you can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And again, if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you, but there's some great information that you can get. You can just reach me anytime. Call me. I'll give you that information. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by mysocallender.com, mysocallender.com. They've got all the great information for you. I'm not going to give you their report this morning. We'll save that. I think we've got a great conversation going here. And being that I'm the host of the show, I get to determine whether we've got a great conversation going or not. So I want to learn some more from our guests this morning. We're talking to our friends from Solutions for Change. And I've been watching them for many, many years and talked and seen some of the great things that have come out of there and watched the number of families that have been transformed, right? And it's amazing how you can see people going. And I know that in the state of Calizuela, we've got so many families that are out there. They're hurting. You know, they don't know where the next meal is coming from. They go to a shelter, they get a meal, but now that they leave there and they've got the same exact problem again. They don't know where the next meal is coming from because no one solved the problem. They put a Band-Aid on the problem, and it's not even a waterproof Band-Aid. It's a cheap one that, you know, it's going to fall right off. And I know that the folks from Solutions for Change, they've done it a whole different process. So I want maybe you can tell me, one of you can tell me a little bit about what is the process somebody goes through once they've been accepted into the program, or how do they get accepted into the program? What's the process from there? Just give me about a minute or two.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. So like Jennifer said, I mean, she got out of treatment and she learned how to maybe stay sober, but she had no idea how to parent her kids. She hadn't had a job in many years. She had been in some pretty unhealthy relationships. And so she had a choice. She could go back to her mom's place, or she could make a move. And so she decided to come to Solutions for Change about 12 years ago. So what happens is there's so many families and people out there in this churn. You just referred to it about, I need food, you get food, you need, it's not even a waterproof Band-Aid. And so what happens is, especially now, the entire system is operationalized around those Band-Aids, and they're a little bit better than Volkswagen Band-Aids. Maybe they're Cadillac Band-Aids, but they're just giving people stuff, lots more stuff. And one of those stuff is they're giving people now free apartments. So they're paying their rent. So these people have all these really tough issues, and now they're behind a door. And Tanya talked about it earlier about, okay, problem over. You're no longer homeless. Well, the sad reality is now you're behind a door and you're suffering behind a door. And if you've got kids, it's not pretty, man. I've knocked on those doors and I don't like what I see when I see those kids in that place, because mom's stuck. She's maybe addicted to meth or heroin. It's not good. And so what happens is we've got to get out there and let people know there's hope. There's people with real love. There's people with real compassion. And it's not going to come to you with a government seal and some faceless, heartless government policy. It's going to come to you by people like Jennifer, like people like all her overcomers that she's empowered with right now. It's going to come to you with those people. Those are the people that were in the churn. They've crushed the churn. Now we're in a full on, like, we got to go find these people. The problem is that as soon as we start trying to find them, they start, like Tanya said, they're swarming to us now because they want their kids. They don't want to lose their kids to CWS, to the system. And that's what happens. You put them behind a door. Eventually something's going to happen and CWS is going to take their kids. So typically what we see is when that happens, there is nothing out there now. There's only places where you get free housing, except for their solutions for change. And so people now come to us. This is why Tanya and all of us here are trying to lead this. This is another way, an approach that should be and must be used in other parts of the state and in the country. I mean, if you look up in the Bay Area right now, it is beyond a nightmare. I mean, I was born in San Fran. And oh my gosh, I can't even go up there anymore, man. There's so much suffering, so much inhumanity. It's like, what is happening to our entire state? And so this is urgent, very urgent. And unfortunately, not enough people believe you believe it's urgent. A lot of the public believe it's urgent, but apparently the politicians, the legislators, and the people that run the system, they don't think it's very urgent. They're just talking about more housing. So sorry to go on a little rant there, but this is like really important and urgent stuff. And we can't figure out, like, hello.
Well, the problem is some of the politicians, they think they know the answer to everything, and they're not smart enough to call somebody like you, Chris, or you, Jennifer, Tanya, to see what you've actually done to solve this problem. I know at one time you found the problem is that people were going through the 300 days and they would go out on their own and they weren't mentoring anybody and they didn't have that big brother. And I know at one time you used to have them come back for continuing education and mentoring. Are you still doing that?
Yeah. And that you just hit on one of the key things. So giving, contribution, teaching people how to be givers, teaching people how to be servant leaders. And, Tanya and Jennifer are both working on that. There's something that I'd like them to share around this new serve to solve idea. It's exactly what you just shared. It's called serve to solve. And the idea is that we take the people who were in the deepest and the hardest of problems, we lift them up, and then we do exactly what you just said. We put them back out in the community. And there's been a couple of recent things here. We've been doing it forever, but there's been a couple of exciting recent things that have happened, and I just like them to share that for a minute.
That's great.
Great.
Who's giving us that information?
Oh, okay. I'll jump in. So with the Serve to Solve project, we have looked at needs in the community, specific, in the areas that we've been supported. And so with COVID, there have been multiple things that have created special projects for our solutions overcomers, and have actually been led and instigated by our overcomers. So for instance, right as COVID hit, we lost a lot of our farm business, our produce, not our produce, we lost our restaurants, everything shut down. So we had all of this produce that we needed to take care of. But we also had a lot of families, not only within solutions, but also outside in our community, who lost their jobs.
Tony, you got to back up because I'm a simple guy. We're talking about homelessness and you're talking about produce. What's that? How do they come together?
Oh, sorry about that. So we have a social enterprise called Solutions Farm, and this is where we provide, one of the tools we provide is workforce development. And in the social enterprise, people in the early phases of our program will go and work, and it's simulated work activities. So they're learning a skill, they're learning team building, they're learning to talk and communicate with their team. Jennifer actually leads our ERT, our workforce training programs. And in return, we produce lettuce, and we also have these CSA boxes, which are farm boxes that have other fruits and vegetables. And so we sell these, and this revenue actually goes directly back to actually fund the mission of the organization. But I'll let Jennifer talk a little bit about the workforce development, but also the serve to solve, and like with the transformation.
Good, because we only have about 30 seconds left. I want to hear from Jennifer, and then I want to hear how the community can help you.
Okay, so during COVID, there was a lot of blame and divisiveness, and then through that, we learned that the community was really suffering, and so we wanted to give back to the community that has given so much to us in their time of need. So we started building decks for a restaurant that had only outside seating because they weren't able to seat inside. We've actually built 3 decks. And so we started doing that. And now we have new Serve to Solve projects to really connect with the community in their time of need, since they were there for us. And it's led by overcomers just like me.
That's awesome. That's great information. Tanya, I'd like you to give us a couple minutes. How can the community help you?
That's great. Well, I think the first thing is just getting engaged. So reach out. We'd love to go visit our website. We have events coming up in the future. Please attend. But also when we post different opportunities, these Serve to Solve projects that help actually the community itself. So it's actually funding our overcomers to be able to serve better within the community that has supported them throughout their journey.
Great information. I've got if you're watching us on any of our social channels or on the AM 1490 feed, AM 1490 KMET, ABC News and Talk feed, you can see solutionsforchange.org, solutionsforchange.org. That is their site. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. And remember my motto: make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.